We began as wanderers, and we are wanderers still.
Good morning, TFR.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworx because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zack. It's like sitting in your front room having a cosy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zack, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworx on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Realm Media is the best on the plane. To this show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to the Ironworx with Zack, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on the Ironworx and become an Iron Scout.
I'm starting off fresh and I feel good. I look good. I smells good. I am good.
Thank God it's Friday.
Happy Friday, my friend.
And a happy Friday to you all. Welcome to the Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. Oh, and it is a Friday. Morning, fellas. How you doing?
Howdy.
Howdy-ho.
Oh, not too shabby. Not a lot done. All the spring cleaning and all that kind of stuff. The yard work. Yeah.
Walter, is that you tearing into some candy or something?
No, that's the Kratom bag. I thought I had muted. I'm sorry. Hit it, and apparently the cat unhit it when she stepped on the keyboard. Sorry. That would be Kratom. I also did a bit of yard work over the last day or two.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was nice being out in there, in the area there. We have neighbors that have moved in, like in the last, I guess, since Christmas, maybe right before. And kind of coincide. It seems like every time we're all outside doing this yard work at the same time. But yeah, real nice people. I like them a lot.
It's always so nice. Few things worse.
Saying, Josh?
I was gonna say there's few things worse in this world than neighbors you can't stand.
Yeah. Are you having these issues?
No, not me personally. I don't know that I've ever even. Well, I guess in apartments there's been a few issues I've had with neighbors in apartment buildings, but not really as far as houses are concerned. Usually, a little bit of a yard is enough separation, but even still, I've got some friends who have some absolutely miserable neighbors and can make spending any time outside uncomfortable. It just sucks. There's not much you can do about it.
Is your neighbor still blasting his cars every time, Walter?
No, they moved. That was also next door, back a while back. Yeah, they moved on. Although, so these people don't rev up their engine repeatedly at 4 and 5 in the morning to like just extreme amounts. What their thing is apparently leaving the car, which actually is more like a SUV type, van type. I don't know what it is, but it sits in the driveway running a lot of the time. Sometimes someone's in it, sometimes someone's not.
That's crazy.
So it is weird. I don't get it. Maybe it just, maybe it doesn't crank well. It's my only guess. You know, it is an older vehicle, so been there, done that.
Right.
So I figure that has to be part of it. You know.
Shit, that's how I am.
And then yesterday there was a different vehicle in the drive pulled up ahead of that vehicle being worked upon. So yeah, they probably do some self mechanicking and like again, we've all been there. So. And then my buddy, who got ran over, y'all, I don't, like I said, I want to grow up and be Gary when I grow up. I want to be him because, dude, he's already over here knocking on my door 2 days ago offering to weed eat the yard, which I had already been out there working on. And I'm like, no, man, I got this. I promise. You know, won't you heal a little bit before you start? He's already out there doing his own and the neighbors. And I'm like, wow, yeah. They don't build them like that anymore.
Oh, hey, Josh, press the button.
Gosh, dog it. And you would think I would have gotten there by now, but I started talking and stopped clicking, and that's what happened. In fact, that was the click I was upon as I began to yap.
What'd you say, Zach?
You hit that button yet?
Nah, I said fuck it. No, it is hit. Shout out to Nuba. Once I saw Nuba over there in the YouTube chat, I thought, I did it again. Or didn't do it again, as the case may be.
This is just how you wanted to get him to come over and say hi to everybody.
That's right. That's just my big ploy, my larger plot.
So the garden beds are just about ready. The soil looks amazing. 3rd year permaculture. Just the soil it's like Indiana topsoil now. It's real dark. You know, it's great. No brown in it at all. No sand, no clay. It's like, you know, good worm poop now. But the spearmint it's like half of the big garden bed now. It went gangbusters over the winter. And this is always the hardest part for me. I should do this stuff in the winter when the plant's pretty much all dead and not even spreading at the time, but I hate cutting it down and not really using it. You know, the spearmint, you can do things with it, but it's not one of those things like thyme or oregano or, you know, garlic, stuff we use all the time. But we do have our dehydrator, it's just an air dryer pretty much. So I'm thinking I'll put it in there and find a use for it, someone to give it to or something. But yeah, it's always the hardest part to go out there and just kill a plant for, you know, I know there's a reason I'm making room for other plants and this and that, but yeah, I have so much trouble with this. Like, do I have the right, you know?
Mm-hmm. I do.
And I know I do have the right, kinda. Not really, I guess, when about it. You know, when I try to, oh yeah, of course, well, I built the bed and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but that plant has been in there in that spot. I mean, do I have more right to that area than that plant does? Who's put more work into that area over the last year? I bet that plant has.
And is that how you define what it means to be deserving of life? Oh, you didn't put in your work, so you're dead. I put in more work than you, so you're dead.
Yeah, I don't know. One of those.
Maybe we were both gifted presents on this earth at this moment for a reason.
Yeah.
That had nothing to do with how much work we put into that earth right there. It should determine whether or not our life continues.
I want to know the reason. You know?
It's one of the big reasons I have a hard time starting another cycle downstairs in the basement. It's just so much emotional work that I have to deal with. And guilt and things like that, because I definitely go through the same thing. Just hate having to put all this care and effort and time into a plant that I know I'm just going to sacrifice the minute that I realize it's not going to serve my purposes. I'm just going to sacrifice it. And my psychosis allows me to.
Wow, that is an aspect of this whole thing I have never thought about. You just opened my brain up to a whole new level. Thank you, Josh.
Even eating fruit off a plant, you know, that, well, you're not killing the plant. No, you're just taking its child away. You know, its seed that would have been a smaller plant growing somewhere in the area, possibly. You know, I've been thinking about that lately too. It's like, yeah, I go and our blackberries are doing great this year. They're spreading really good and lots of flowers. And I walk up and I'm like, I can't wait till that's a berry so I can eat it. And then I look at the plant and it's like, oh, damn, did you hear that? I'm sorry. But yeah, I realize, yeah, I'm going to be eating your offspring here. I don't know which is worse, grabbing the fruit and eating it or, you know, I don't know.
So does that play into the whole karmic cycle, perhaps? Like, okay, so these last 3 or 4 cycles, I was a raging, power-hungry, frickin' rape, pillage, destroy, politician type person. And so, man, the fuck was I thinking? Let me chill this round. Let me be a plant that will give fruit for freaking ever until somebody decides I'm not giving enough fruit and they yank my butt out of the ground and maybe I can learn some humility. I don't know. It's just all these weird thoughts going through my head.
Yeah. And like Axel said, I've heard this before. Well, that's why they were put there. Well, that's a point of view, really. I mean, if you're the plant,
right,
that the people were put here to die, and then for the plant to eat once it broke down. I mean,
yep. My fertilizer just has to age a little bit before I can use it. So I'll let it walk around for 80, 90 years, and then once it finally stops moving, well, then it starts to become fertilizer.
Yeah, I think it's really just a lesson in being grateful. You know, life feeds on life. That's just how it works.
Well, I think it also speaks back to how much it sucks to have a neighbor that you just can't fucking stand to be around, and how miserable life can make it trying to deal with that every time you go outside. I think I think these two kind of go hand in hand. Not just how we treat our neighbors, but how we treat all our neighbors.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think it's really just a good lesson that, hey, there's no way to consume and to keep going and to get the energy you need without ending something else's life.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way it is. That's the way this place is set up. It's something we all have to come to terms with. You know, just because it doesn't have hair and make noise and breathe the way we do and have blood the way we do doesn't mean it's not alive. The rocks are singing out. Everything is alive, growing, or breaking down, or but yeah, this idea that it's okay to eat this over here but not okay to eat this over here for a philosophical reason makes zero sense to me.
Same.
Health reasons, things like that, hey, we can have those conversations. But philosophically, no, you're still ending a life.
Yep.
One way or another. And that's just how I feel about that. That's part of this journey we're taking. And I think it's also, maybe not a lesson, but like a quiz and a test. Like, do you even notice this? Is this something that maybe not so much praying over your food, but just thanking it? Anything you're about to consume, just say thank you. Hey, thank you. You're no longer get to be, or you were ended, your life cycle was ended, so mine can keep going. Thank you. And that's all you have to say. You don't have to make it super religious. You don't have to make it, to this person or that person, I say thank you because I ate this thing over here. No, just say thank you to the earth, to the realm. Thank you for another, another bite, so I get to keep going another day.
I like that. Even as I was reading what Jack Streaming said about, it's the same as digging in the ground. You disturb ants' nests, you cut worms up. It's a big cyclical event for the insects. And I get that, I get that things were created for purposes, but who are we to decide those purposes? Who are we to take? I don't know. That whole dominion over thing really gets in my craw. It always has. Like since I was a kid and being told that shit, it didn't feel that way to me living in the country and growing up with animals and all that. It just felt like we were together doing stuff together. And, of course I saw other kids that were raised around the same things and the same animals and the same farming I was, and didn't have the respect for it, and actually were kind of mean and stuff. So I don't know. It's hard to work through this one for sure, for me anyway, because I'm like you with the sensitivity thing. I have to really be so guarded, I guess, or walled up, I guess, at times, trying not to over empathically feel these things so that I can, do those killings that are necessary killings.
And I think that's our problems is we try to remove ourselves from these feelings. It's like a dog ashamed of pooping. You see it in their eyes. They don't want you sitting there staring at them when they're pooping.
Yeah, they do.
Well, some of them don't.
Most of them, I think, do. It's you looking out for them when they're very vulnerable and susceptible to attack is when they're pooping. So they really generally do appreciate having that extra set of eyes on the lookout for them.
Looking out, maybe, but just staring at them, sometimes I get that feeling too, Zach. I know exactly what you mean.
Well, all right. Well, maybe you two are just creepy.
Well, no, dude. I mean, some dogs are like, just like different cats have different personalities. Some dogs just have different personalities, and they don't dig it. They don't like when you pay attention to them directly when they're in that situation. Yeah, they like to have you near, I guess, for the lookout idea. But you watching them while they're doing it, and they're looking up at you like, "Hey, dude, don't you see I'm straining here? Get the fuck off me!" Oops, I'm sorry, my language has got to clean up.
I mean, and that's pretty common, though, isn't it? How would you feel if people just like to watch you poop?
Well, I was about to get into that, but I really stopped myself. I mean, I've been in very different relationships with very different ladies who had very different ideas about bathroom etiquette, or as far as like togetherness in there during certain functions. And some were way too open for me, and some were like, like, you're looking at the bathroom door, it's closed, and I'm in here. What are you thinking? So I don't know. Everybody's different.
I had a girlfriend who used to call me in there.
Hold up. This is a family show.
She would want to talk. It's like, we do this in like 5-10 minutes, like when you're done. Oh my goodness. That's too funny. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know about all that stuff. I don't have the answers. So did you guys see what happened?
Oh, yeah, I did see it. Someone sent it to me. Michelle sent it to me.
We got to mention it a little bit. I mean, this was the first Starship launch. An epic test flight, right? It's got to be epic. Everything now, these young kids that are now coming up and writing, have you noticed how epic is used all the time? Like, oh, those things, like those tostadas were epic. Really? Epic? You know what epic means?
It's the YouTube video title language. Oh, it was epic own. That Karen got owned epically.
Epic. We rarely saw the words epic back in the day because it was, it meant something astonishing, something that, was hard to believe almost. Well, but now, yeah, everything's epic.
Mm-hmm. What in the world was I doing? Oh, space lettuce. You right.
I mean, if you're going to say it was epic anything, it was an epic failure. The thing it wasn't supposed to. It wasn't a firework. This was, the rocket that's supposed to be taking us to Mars and the moon and all kinds of places like that. And but isn't this to be expected every once in a while? If it always works, people aren't going to pay attention that much, I guess. I don't know. They want people to say, oh, look, it is that hard. Our first try, it blew up. So we're not faking it.
Well, I got sent the video. And I watched the same one I put there in the Ironworx chat or the whatever. It had a story in the little video. And I watched it. And I went on YouTube and I watched, directly their feed before they pulled it. And then I watched a few different stories to see, making sure, that I got past a certain point. Because most of the news stories ended at the explosion, at their unexpected disassembly or whatever they jokingly called it. And that's what I finally had to see, is the cheering. Really, on video, not just hearing it over the thing. And it was like, oh my God, you cheering idiots, you flapping your gum monkeys. What in the hell, dude? I mean, I get there's a prompt over there that has applause on it, just like in the studio audience, because it's a fucking show we're watching. I get that, but still, it's so like.
I wonder if they were cheering.
It exploded! Woo! I don't know.
I wonder if the data they were receiving had it explode, showed it exploding. Or if there was a simulation being run in the software, so they all assumed that things were going normally, but in reality, the damn thing exploded, but they're all cheering because they think that they're...
Yeah, they can't actually see it.
Right.
Wasn't that hilarious?
Or it was cut from a training mission or a previous launch.
Right. Right. All that was going through my head. Like, okay, what are they looking at? And what are they thinking? And, everything past the launch was a plus. I'm like, including all those misfired engines that weren't burning at the bottom that you could see and all that. That was all a plus. I get it. Okay, we're testing. Okay, whatever. Excuse me. And then my buddy, there in chat sometimes with us, Tyler Sultan, he gave me a real quick message on the text there. He said, did you see it? And I'm like, yeah, I saw it. It's like, and what did it look like to you? And I'm like a bunch of cheering idiots. He's like, yeah, but didn't the rocket look like perhaps it was bouncing off of something up there and couldn't get through. And I'm like, oh, well, no, I didn't look at it with that in mind. So I went back. And let's just say that the whole reason they go downrange is because of that very fact. They can't go up. They can't. They just freaking can't break through an electromagnetic barrier or whatever the fuck it is. And so they have to do their, downrange. We're going downrange to go up. That makes sense. Maybe they miscalculated. Maybe the misfiring of the rocket, because it obviously at the bottom wasn't firing directly to it off course enough to where it couldn't do its downrange thing soon enough to avoid hitting whatever it seemed to be bouncing off of up there. Go back and watch it today when you have a few minutes. Watch it a few times. Slow it down on the YouTube little... think about a bug bouncing around on the inside of a glass dome over your light outside the porch there.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'll have to go watch it a few more times. Did you see the wording in Space.com's headline? A rapid, unscheduled disassembly.
There it is. Rapid, unscheduled disassembly. I know there was a phrase that was bandied about, yeah.
What was wrong with the Saturn V? Again?
The one that was too big, that one?
Yeah, the one that took us...
The one that crumpled on the fucking...
6 times we went at least around, or 4 times landed on the moon using this thing in the 60s and 70s. And
Ants think summer all winter. I'm sure all winter long ants say, this won't last long, we'll soon be out of here. What a neat philosophy, what a neat attitude. This won't last long, we'll soon be out of here. First warm day, they're out. Now if it turns cold again, they'll dive back down, but first warm day, they're out. They can't wait to get out. What a neat philosophy, can't wait to get at it. We teach in leadership skills. Average people look forward to getting off. Successful people look forward to getting on with it. The guy doesn't want off, he wants on. And that's what starts to transform his life, into the doing, into the activity. Now here's the last of the ant philosophy. How much will an ant gather during the summer? To prepare for the winter, answer, all he possibly can. What an incredible philosophy, the all you possibly can philosophy. You gotta come up with a philosophy of how much should you do. Shof gave me the best answer when I was 25 years old. Here's what he said. Do all you can.
Hey everyone, it's Chris Gio, founder of Truth Frequency Radio and host of Beyond the Veil. The mainstream media and establishment are running scared right now, and they've prominently featured truthfrequencyradio.com as number 89 on the federal government's hit list, also known as the fake news list, which is essentially a list of sites slated for censorship on Facebook, YouTube, Google, and other social media. Now is the time for you to get involved. Share your favorite TFR shows far and wide on forums and social media. Tell your friends and family about your favorite shows. If you're a business owner, get in touch with us to feature your product or service right here on TFR. And if you haven't done so already, become a TFR supporter now and get unlimited commercial-free downloads in high quality. Visit truthfrequencyradio.com/sign-up. Thank you for making TFR the leader in independent and uncensored talk radio. Truth Frequency Radio, your protection from deception.
Once in a decade, a true story comes along that remembers the future. After 6 Amazon bestsellers, I have completed the epic Birth Trilogy, a true story of Earth. By reading the Birth Trilogy, you will journey with the characters from the origin of Earth to its final destiny in a white-knuckle ride that combines the intrigue of Tom Clancy with the epic scope of Prometheus and Interstellar. You will learn more about the purpose of life, the mystery of death, and the true nature of your soul than you thought possible. The Birth Trilogy is now available on Amazon and Kindle. The audio version is a free bonus when you buy the paperback, so even if you're not a great reader, don't worry about it. I read it for you. Use the Amazon app today and buy the Birth Trilogy, spelled B-E-A-R-T-H, or search for my name. I'm Brooks Agnew.
You're listening to the Truth Frequency Radio Network.
No hate, no hype, no fear.
I'm good. I'm done. You go.
No, I'm just like, so you did Bill and Ted, which brought up Bill and Ted in my head, which then immediately made me think Extreme. Because, man, they just dropped 2 new songs a couple of days ago. I'm excited for this upcoming album. I really am. I mean, I was a huge fan. Nuno Bettencourt, one of my guitar heroes from back in the early 90s. And being a guitar player, they never really left my frontal lobe like they did a lot of these people that are like, oh, the big comeback. I get it. They haven't really put an album out in, 10, 15 years? But, Tool did that, and they weren't doing a big comeback. They just took for fucking ever to make an album. So, I watched Nuno's live performances with his brother and him and, like, other guitar players so much over the years that, like I said, to me, they never really went anywhere because he never really stopped playing and he never really stopped putting out amazing guitar performances, both electric and acoustic. So, yeah, it's great to see the attention that they're getting again. And I'm, being an 80s dude, 90s, love music from back in the day. I love music from today as well, don't get me wrong. But it's just something about it. It gives you that retro but new kind of vibe, which I like. That's what I used to love when Rage first came out. It was like sounded like stuff you'd heard 100,000 times, but it was new. Well, that's what this feels like. So I'm excited. The new album hitting in June, I believe. I've even pre-ordered it. That's how excited I am about it. But yeah, they dropped the 2 new songs a couple days ago, back to back or right at the same time. I don't know. Banshee and Rebel. So yeah, go check them out. Even if you're not an 80s kid, it's still good music.
I saw Van Halen back in the mix somewhere. Where was it? I'd just seen it, and they were talking about it's on Eddie Van Halen, the guitarist and songwriter. Let's not forget the great hits Eddie had. This is from VHND.com. Oh, Van Halen News Desk. I had no idea there was even such a thing. Did you know about this, Walter?
I mean, there's lots of little things that seem to be like that, I guess, which when you really dig to the bottom of them is some guy who really, really likes some Van Halen and decided to make a website with some news about it. Kind of like that. Remember that Pee-wee site that I found that had that background I used for the Zoom call? Yeah, same thing there. It's just a fan site somebody assembled. It's not officially a whatever from some Warner Brothers site or whatever. And that's all me assuming. I haven't looked at it, but yeah.
Yeah, in the article, it just goes on saying how, his innovative guitar skills shouldn't be the only thing he'll be remembered for. Yes, he played very fast, and his notes that he picked were a little different. How he used his melodic tones. I think goes into him hyper speed and stuff like that. the great hits Eddie had is what he's talking about. Everyone knows and loves them. So the guy wasn't just a guitar player. He could write as well a song. And it may not have been the songs that, like a Don McLean song or a Harry Chapin song that just have all this meaning and brings back all these different emotions and stuff like that. But they were catchy, his songs. And they did.
What a lot of people, oops, sorry, I'm going ahead.
I was just going to say they did have meaning to them. What he was going through at that time, it may have been meaning of, the eyes of a very young man. Some of his songs. They were probably writ, Hot for Teacher, stuff like that. The guy was amazing at a lot of things. And I think most people, when they think Eddie is, oh, well, he played guitar. But he did a lot more than that. All right, Walt, I'm done.
Well, like I was going to say is folks, not only assisted him and helped encourage him, his dad was a phenomenal clarinet player in big bands and that type of jazzy thing. And, he started out I don't know if Alex did, but he started out with piano. That's why he went back to the keyboard on the albums. That was what he started with. And then he started drumming, and Alex started guitar, and Alex would leave his set and he'd go climb, his guitar, and he'd go get the guitar, and Alex would climb on his set, and they would finally just switched out and became who they are. Music being part of their family, touring band of their dad being part of their growing up, So, it was already a musical household. I don't know. There's something about being raised in a musical household that lends to a greater appreciation, maybe, or a greater, I don't know. You absorb a lot more music, so that gets inside you, so that when you express your music, it's all in there and becomes part of the soup, I guess. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but yeah, definitely having that background, I think, has a lot to do with that, because it definitely was more than just the guitar. There are certain breakdowns in their songs that just still to this day, when they happen and those vocal harmonies start kicking, it brings chills to me. It's really phenomenal music. Not long ago, I read a unauthorized biography, if you will, that we had picked up at that estate sale where I grabbed the little baby red guitar, the Flying V, and I knew probably 80% of it, because I was a huge guitar magazine, music magazine aficionado back in the day, Cream and Kerrang, and you name it. I had either a subscription or a place I could go grab it. So I pretty much knew a lot of the stuff in the book, but some of it I did, some of the details. But yeah, definitely, it's always interesting to go digging and find out about the people you appreciate, whose music you appreciate, for sure, and where their background may have given them some of what that is all about.
So I had to watch it for myself, and they really stuck a commercial in there at the most inconvenient point. So if you watch the commercial and then you go back and rewatch it so it doesn't replay the commercial again, because you've already got the cookies of having watched your ad, so you can go back and rewatch it ad-free, it's just really fucking awkward. Where we're just going to film this rocket exploding until the very last remnants of bits and pieces and ashes have disappeared from the sky as they fall. Then we'll cut to the launch pad for half a second, and then we'll cut to the control room where everybody's jumping up and cheering and clapping and yay! Like, what the fuck did I just watch versus what the fuck did they just watch? Pardon my language again, but I just I'm trying to have a hard time reconciling those two things. And then they cut to Elon and apparently his surfer buddy who's behind 3 fucking screens. In this control room where it just looks like they drug in folks off the street. And they're looking at all these screens up on the wall, but there's not much fucking on these screens. There's lots of banding colors and strange things, but it's not like they're really watching stuff. Maybe the shape of the Earth on one of the screens, like there's a camera out in space that they're watching that has nothing to do with either the rocket or the launch pad. I don't know, but there's some really strange things going on some of the screens that's not directly facing the camera on that video. It's just really, really weird to see them actually cheering after the thing explodes. Like,
I don't get it. Yeah.
Why would they even cut? What kind of producer would see them? I don't know. Maybe they weren't expecting that for an entire room of people to be cheering that their rocket just exploded into a zillion pieces. Well, maybe we shouldn't be recording this, Mark. I just don't fucking get it. Just don't get it.
My first disconnect was right off the bat when the launch occurred. The rocket starts up. We're tracking the rocket from launch pad upward. We've got a fucking centered shot, an excellent cinematography shot of this rocket leaving the pad, and we're scanning up, and it's like maybe 10 feet away from the pad. Cut. Why? Why that cut at that time? Why? Why? You don't film anything exciting that way. You don't film anything you're trying to document for historical purposes that way. You don't film anything that you're trying to present in any kind of logical way in that way. No, you only do that if you're trying to fucking hide something with edits. That is the only reason to have cut from that rocket ascending at that moment during that shot. Is when you cut to the pre-arranged video feed. And if that's what they did, then why did we see it explode? It's where I keep coming back to. What purpose to this? More money to be wasted to show, it's going to take $80 quadrillion a day for us to figure this big thing out. Obviously, since that rocket exploded, we need more money, right? These people.
These effing people. Yay!
Yay!
Sorry, I've got to watch them cheer one more time. I've been playing it for the audience there on YouTube that can actually see it. As it spirals out of control to the time that it explodes, and they're just tracking the last few pieces. Oh, there it goes. Kaboom. Then we track them. Cut to the launch pad, and then a room full of cheering fucking engineers. Or, I don't know, extras they hired to come in. Temps from the temp agency. Yay! We did it! Rock on! Yeah! Woo! We're so fucking smart! Yay! Human ingenuity! We did it!
Rocket exploded. Or, I'm sorry, it didn't explode. It was on some dismantled. How did they word it? I mean, they do actually say it explodes, but it explodes in a certain way. In a rapid, unscheduled disassembly. Now, that's a real nice way of saying that, yeah, it blew up. Rapid, unscheduled disassembly. Is that just filling words?
Yeah. Or you're trying to not use certain buzzwords for some reason.
Alec Baldwin's manslaughter charges were dropped. That's what all about that.
Fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about it, but I'm not shocked.
Turns out the gun went off all by itself.
All by itself. I mean, nobody's getting in trouble here.
12 pounds of pull on the trigger, and that's magically done all by itself.
I mean, somebody should be getting in trouble for negligence just for them having live ammunition on a film set. Period. Somebody is at fault for this.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure somebody will be charged. It's just not going to be the guy that took the gun, pointed it at the victim, pulled the trigger, shot him in the face, and killed him dead. Why should he be charged?
Yeah, that is a good question. New national park, possibly opening up in Georgia, the very first national park in Georgia. I did not know that Georgia did not have a national park.
Which means somebody probably died, and they're either going to use eminent domain to take over their property because it's got something really cool that they don't want anybody else to see, or some bootlegger just donated it to the fucking state.
Yeah, it says if Ocmulgee, Ocmulgee, Ocmulgee Mounds becomes a national park, it'll be the first Georgia and the first co-managed. Oh my goodness.
Good morning, Zack.
What? Co-managed by a tribe that was once forcibly removed from the land. I'm not exactly sure, blah, blah, blah. Oh, Macon, Georgia. The Muskogee Creek Nation. Carbon dating, they go in here and blah, blah, blah. We're not even going to fill your mind with all that nonsense. But yeah, there's some mounds down in Georgia. 2,000-acre area will likely be upgraded this year to become United States' 64th and newest national park. So it's already a park. It's known as the National Historical Park, but it's not it's a national park then, right? I don't know. Oh, it's a National Historical Park, not a national park.
Like national rent to own.
Yeah.
The National Historical Park Preserve.
These mounds aren't small, 55 feet. That's a big old chunk of earth. Blah, 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 railroads, this and that. Yeah. Okay. We were thinking about doing that, starting to go see some of the national parks in the area here this summer. Just making days out of it, taking Jaren, getting him out of the house, and just going and seeing some nature, some cool geological features and whatnot. Oh, yeah, there's a nuclear physicists have a groundbreaking observation of strange matter. Get out of here. So it's not dark.
I liked Rocky Horror better myself. I didn't really like that sequel. Oh, wait, what are you talking about?
Americans with disability benefit will receive last Social Security in April. Huh? If you have a Social Security disability benefit, you may receive the last check for April within a few days. I didn't know anything about this. I do know a couple people that are on disability benefits. So what are they saying? That they're taking them away, or it's just... Okay, throughout each month of the year, the Social Security Administration sends different checks to different groups of disability retirees. While some Americans think that retirees are divided into groups depending on the type of retirement, this is not the case. Within the groups, the only thing that causes them to have a division in paydays has to do with retirement date or day of birth. Having the money in the same Social Security remittance will depend on the date of the okay, blah, blah, blah. So are people going to keep getting them, or are you just changing the date?
The way I understood it, they were just changing the date. They're getting their last payment for April. Meaning instead of at the end of the month, I guess, they're getting it 3/4 of the way in.
Okay. So, okay. All right. Well, I thought they were like removing certain people's disability or something.
I don't think so.
In the thing, yeah, Americans with disability benefits will receive last Social Security in April. That's the headline. I was like, what?
It's a clickbaity title, without a doubt. And it worked.
Yeah, it did. It got me.
They work all too often on me as well. It's the YouTube thumbnails that never appear in the actual video. That's the ones I hate more than anything.
Mm-hmm. There used to be a way to report a video just for that.
I know. You're right. There did. I remember that in the early days of playing around in the YouTube studio and stuff. Get down, you. That must be why it started being a flood of that. They took it out of there as part of the reporting system. So people said, oh, go.
Worm-inspired liquid neural network grants drone autonomy.
Okay, I know those. I know all those words. Like every word you use, I know them all. But when you put them together that way, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Okay. So he talks about how artists, innovators look to nature for inspiration, blah, 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 blah. The LNN, liquid neural networks, are a newer iteration of neural networks. Inspired by organic brains, they contain a set of neurons connected by synapses that can continuously adapt to new data inputs. Okay, it's a computer that is hooked to data sets. So more sensors, I'm assuming. I'm not going to read any more into it. Blah, blah, blah. We made another neat computer thing. I still want to see AI hooked up to some sensors. Let's give this thing that supposedly has all this, capability.
Oh, it's being done left and right. There's all kind of little things being hooked up to AI right now.
Big sensors and then say, hey, look out there. Can you see too far?
When you said that about sensors, it triggered a little thing. I don't know what came through my feed that sent me there. Maybe just one of his videos, or maybe something else I watched made his videos come up in the next group of videos. But suddenly I was down the Professor Bulworth's rabbit hole, enjoying some of the videos that I had missed after our initial Emojis or Demons foray there on his channel. I had also gone back to the channel during his look at the Max Headroom hack of a television station that occurred and all the esoteric ramifications there. But what I had missed completely was a series of things that he did, like series of answering questions I'm guessing he got from his Patreons or from his Twitter feed or somewhere like that. And some of them were really intriguing. And then I got to a series of videos on hobos. And it broke my brain. And I'm not going to give you a single spoiler, but I am going to link that to you here in just a minute so that your brain can explode like mine did. And that made me go, well, let me go on and dig really deep. These are all the videos just came like at me through my feed. Then I went to the channel and started digging around and found out this whole thing about crash test dummies. No, not the band, the actual crash test dummies that are used in crash tests and how they are loaded with sensors and yet don't actually provide any type of data that's useful in crash testing. In fact, most people think of crash test dummies as a preventative type measure, that we crash these dummies at high speed in various ways and test these cars out and make the cars safer. Au contraire. And if you watch Fight Club, you may know this already. What we do is we get a lot of cars data that have crashed, and we take that data from the car crashes in real life and we apply that to the crash test dummies so that they can react more realistically within the crashes. Not how did they react in the crash so that we can then prevent that from happening to the humans who might have the same crash. No. It's like, what happened to the human and how can we replicate that in this dummy that is loaded with these sensors that essentially give it the ability to feel pain. Okay, I'll stop there. I don't want to spoil anymore. Go watch this stuff. And yeah, I'm reaching out to the professor and his, student assistant there and seeing if I can get him to pop in on our show soon. It's a little difficult to reach out because of the layers of who the hell this actually is, but I'm getting there. I'm going to link it to you guys. It was some pretty mind-blowing stuff. I think that's how I spent all day yesterday. Was that day before? Yeah, no, that was all day Monday. Yeah. No, that was Sunday, actually. No, yesterday was a whole different trip. That's right. Anyway, let me link that to you. One moment.
And we go quiet.
No, stop talking. My bad.
Oh, and perfect timing. That worked out well anyway. That does bring us to the very end, the end of the second half of the first half of the Ironworks. Stick around. We've got a whole another hour coming up right after these briefest of messages.
Hi, my name is Ella, and I'm 10 years old. I'm one of the millions of children born to parents suffering from the sheeple virus. Symptoms include the inability to think for oneself, the attention span of a goldfish, and a strong belief in government and the mainstream media. It is estimated that 1 out of every 2 children are being raised by parents infected with the sheeple virus. But there is a cure. For as little as 19 cents per day, you can become a TFR supporter and help children like me get their daily dose of truth. Together, we will make sure every child has protection from deception.
Do you think that General Patton was woke? I don't think so. What do you think, Mike? Mike, was he woke? I don't think so. I don't think he was too woke. Woke. You know what woke means? It means you're a loser. Woke. Everything woke turns to shit. This is a sick culture, and our country's a disaster, and it's going to die before your very eyes. Our women's soccer team was supposed to easily win, but they went woke. The one with the purple hair, she didn't play too well. She went woke. Take a look, everything goes bad, but it's true about woke. Do you think that General Patton was woke? It's crazy. I've never seen anything so stupid in my life. Woke. You know what woke means? It means you're a loser. Woke. Everything woke turns to shit. Our country was so respected. Nobody was going to mess with us. And then this clown, he got in office, sort of like the captain of a ship. Let's jump off first before the passengers. I'm getting the hell out of here. I could just see this. The leadership of the Taliban standing there. Somebody walking up. Sir, the soldiers have left. It's crazy. I've never seen anything so stupid in my life. Woke. You know what woke means? It means you're a loser. Woke. Everything woke turns to shit. You know what? I believe totally in your freedoms. I do. You got to do what you have to do. But I recommend take the vaccines. I did it. It's good. Take the vaccines. But you got, that's okay. That's all right. You got your freedoms. But I happen to take the vaccine. It's crazy. It's crazy. I've never seen anything so stupid in my life. Woke. You know what woke means? It means you're a loser. Woke. Everything woke turns to...
You must unite what has been set aside.
We are TFR, Truth Frequency Radio.
Good morning. I'm here. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up.
Wake up!
Wake up!
What is dark matter?
Okay, we don't know.
That's great. That's why it's called dark.
It's exactly.
Everyone knows all reputable information comes from random people on the internet.
Tell me things, internet. The earth is flat. It's like school, in your hand.
Okay, dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe the dark matter is there, but we have never detected it. Well, what I'm afraid of course, is that there is no dark matter out there. There was one? There is no dark matter out there. We need to think really hard.
Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Jones here. You're listening to Iron Realm Media. I listen all the time, and it's the best truth show out there. Forget about the mainstream lying. Get your weekly dose of iron. Realm, that is. Stay woke, folks.
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworx because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworx with Josh, Walt, and Zack. It's like sitting in your front room having a cozy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworx with Josh, Walt, and Zack, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworx on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Realm Media is the best on the plane. To the show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to The Ironworx with Zack, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on the Ironworx and become an Iron Scout.
That's right. Cheer like your rocket just blew up. Welcome back to the first half of the second half of the Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com.
Done some new t-shirt designs there. It's looking sharp.
Yeah, we could thank Angela Baby Carson for that specifically. She had reached out to me looking for a link to the store. And I realized we'd already had a conversation about how there's just not really any plain logo t-shirts on there to speak of. We get inspired and we'll create something on the fly, a one-off, but we didn't really have a whole lot of at least updated plain. And for Ironworx, we had no 3-man logo up there. So I had to make sure we added that. But we've got the Ironworx. We got some IRM logo stuffs. We got some Have No Sphere stuffs. Once she asked, I thought, well, shit, I better get some up there. Because we said we would. Some things have stuff on the back, some don't. I tried to add a IRM logo to some stuff, but it got to the point where I just thought it'd be better just to do a simple plain front, blank back t-shirt. Something quick and easy. Just throw it up there. David Banner says we need an Ironworx weed strain. Yeah, we do. Blast off to the Iron Realm. Of course, that sort of implies something.
Davis is on a strain for Bob right now. I gave him the name the No Dell Nuggets. See if he chooses that one, but he was looking for a good name. He wanted to, kind of as a tribute to Bob and all he shared with us and all that kind of great stuff. He wanted to name a strain after him. So if you have any good ideas for a name, reach out there to Daryl Davis when you see him in chat or just around. You can get, there's people who have his info that I can get him a message. But if you have a good idea for a name for a nugget, I think he's out there looking for that perfect name. But yeah, I said No Dell Nugget. That's just what popped into my head right away. But I'm sure there's a better one out there.
Banana Bobo. That's my go-to.
Banana Bobo. Nice, dude. Yeah,
He's definitely a very cerebral strain already. So
Daryl was getting ready for the Cannabis Cup. He was going to either enter the modified grape or the honey banana. He was asking people in a chat yesterday, which one do you think I should send? It's like, dude, those are my favorites.
Those are my both go-to, right?
You're like telling me to pick between the Beatles and Zeppelin here. Come on. It's like they're different, but they're both great. And I'm not going to pick. They're like different. It's that music thing. It's like, who's your favorite band or what's your favorite song of all time? Well, it's like, well, what kind of song? Rap, rock, what are you talking about? No, just your favorite overall song out of all the different types of music. I have trouble picking those, because they all do stuff to me. My favorite song in this genre and that genre by this artist and by that artist. It's hard to pick a favorite to me. You guys have any of that problem?
Quite often.
I mean, yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Usually.
Or it's like saying, what's your favorite color? But you're looking at the color wheel, that has like 2,000 colors in it. Oh, your favorite color is red? Well, okay, now pick between these 186 different colors of red. And tell me which one is your favorite. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I couldn't pick between the modified grape or the honey banana. Right now, I've been on a modified grape kick. So I might lean closer that way, but then I taste the honey banana. It's like, ooh, that tastes so good. And I don't know. But good luck there, Daryl. If you're out there, brother, you hear this, much love and good luck on the Cannabis Cup, man. If anybody deserves it, it's you.
Heck yeah.
Bobby Cush, No Dell Knowledge, OG Bob Cush. Oh, I love it. Yeah, Choster says he's got hundreds of faves. Oh. I was going to get into something. What were we talking about right before the break? I know this is not the group to be asking what we were talking about 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Something, and I want to add to it before we jumped out. But yeah, I cannot remember for the life of me.
Well, I know it went quiet right before the break, and then the break happened. That's my memory of the last 20 minutes.
I was looking for...
I was muted. I was talking and throwing that little tidbit that I had out, but yeah, it did not get played.
I was looking for onesies and baby clothes over there on Spring to see if we could add the logo easily, but I'm not seeing it. So
Oh, really? That used to be one of the things you could do.
I thought so too. I thought
They
I
must have
remembered.
taken it. They must not have sold lots, so they took it off the site, maybe. Interesting. I was just reading Daz's thing here. Red doesn't matter much as an oil painter. The human eye kind of sees it the same, not like flesh tones. They have a deep optical coherence. But oil paints are a glitch in the matrix to allow data. Interesting. I never messed with oils in college when I really got serious. Well,
it travels the furthest before.
Wait, what?
I was just saying red refracts the least. Like red lights on the top of tall buildings and stuff like that, because you can see them from a further. That's a test somebody could do. If you had a red light and a blue light at the same level, all right, across a lake or a nice flat surface, and you record them from a far distance, according to how refraction really works, the red light and the blue light should bend at different amounts. It will never bend the exact same because the frequencies are different. And the red light travels further and bends less. So the red light should really be higher than the blue light. But if they're at the same height, then you can discount refraction having any sort of real, optical distortion of your image. And you can start looking a lot more towards diffraction. Now, I'm not saying refraction does not happen. It does. But most of the time, it's negligible. Stellar refraction, which is the stars, yes. When they get close to the horizon, you're looking through so much atmosphere, and the atmosphere layers are changing, that the stars will appear to, as they're coming down, they start wiggling almost. Like they'll be going straight lines, and then they hit about 20 degrees in the sky, and they'll start moving back and forth and look like a snake almost as they're setting. Now that's due to stellar refraction. What we see when we're looking at buildings across a lake or something, that's terrestrial refraction, which is negligible. You're not going to see a building, snake from side to side, what would be like a quarter mile to your appearance. It just doesn't happen. You're not going to see a blue light and a red light, a huge difference in those two lights from 10 miles away. You're just not going to see it. But if refraction were the cause of all this, we would. Extraterrestrial refraction look like? That's a good question, Notch. I am not sure. Well, it looks like we have been joined by the one and only Andrew B. What's
awesome. Up? Thank you very much, guys. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you.
I was just looking up some space lettuce stuff, and I just found something that looks so stupid. I can't even believe that they're putting this out there.
Hold that thought for half a second. Just 1 second. Damn it, I've lost it. There it is. Big Pine Sailing saying red disappears quickly underwater. Below 20 feet, red blood appears green. What? I don't even know that, and I'm a pretty aquatic person. So I'm actually looking at my color wheel here, trying to see how that would work out, complementary-wise, light-wise, and it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I guess removing the yellow by, I don't know. That one broke my brain a little bit. Maybe that's why Christmas colors are red and green. I don't know. Anyway, go ahead. Back to you, Andrew.
No problem. So apparently Airbus, they make the world's largest commercial airplane. And it says they unveil futuristic space station concept. Now, You gotta just go to space.com and look at it. This is so fucking stupid. So they're basically showing like a whole bunch of food, like in this little carousel kind of thing, like in like vending machines, and all the food is just kind of sitting there. But if there's no gravity, how the fuck is it gonna just stay there? And then you look at the rest of it, and it's just like, what the fuck is wrong with people? And I bet they got paid a lot of money to put that out.
Oh yeah.
Most likely.
So much of this stuff that we see that's in print in all these magazines and stuff, they say less than 1% of it is based on actual physics or science. Less than 1% of anything in any scientific journal or paper, not just space.com and places like that. You add up all the scientific papers and journals, and 99% of it is theory. That should tell you all you need to know about our community of scientists and physicists. When 99% of everything that they get published is just theoretical nonsense. To me, that tells me, yeah, there are still discoveries being made out there, but we're not hearing about them. We're not privy to that information and that knowledge. We get fed this garbage.
Yeah, and then I was listening to Bro Sanchez yesterday, and he was just going over a whole bunch of different stuff about his upcoming debate with Fight the Flat Earth, whatever his fucking name is, Craig. Anyways, apparently it was like an open discussion where an actual astrophysicist, allegedly, that's what he said, came in and said, well, do you know what the sun is made of? Do you know how helium got its name? He's like, I don't give a flying fuck. So I was like, no, I don't. And he says, well, it's from the sun. Like, seriously? Okay, so like in 1883 or something like that, some guy in India discovered that there was something going on with the sun, and so he calls it helium. And then it was like 4 years later, oh, we discovered helium on Earth. Get the fuck out of here. What is this nonsense? I did the research on it. It's fucking stupid. But people they buy this shit because they went to school and spent $150,000 on a PhD or more.
Do you know there used to be a planet closer to the sun than Mercury called Vulcan?
Wait, Vulcan, like in Star Trek?
Yeah.
What?
No joke.
Oh my gosh. I thought that was just completely science fiction.
No, I mean, they've been doing this for a while now. Just throwing it at the wall, seeing what sticks, and saying, yeah, we'll just shovel this out to the people for a couple decades. And then we'll just stop talking about it like it never happened. And then 100 years down the road, nobody will even know that we said that. Except for those nerds that go and read all the old papers from, 1890s and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, I just saw in chat, Austin was saying that Nuba just donated 196 and we hit the 3K goal for the trivia.
Oh, man, I played completely. I had set a clock, and when it went off, I didn't have it timed, like by a title for it, and I looked at it and like, why in the hell
I'm not going to
is this
spoil
going
it
off?
for you then.
All right.
But it was pretty good.
Damn it.
I enjoyed it a lot.
And it pissed me off when I do stuff. And I do that too often. And I tell myself you should name these little alarms so that when they go off, it won't be like, well, what's this for? I must have just left this on for no reason. Damn it. All right, I'm going to go play catch up. Probably, well, not today because it's Friday. Maybe tomorrow. No spoilers in chat.
Nope,
Damn it.
I won't.
No, in chat either. I see. Yeah, Austin's there. Oh, Liz fussing at me. Yeah, I blew it, Liz. Damn it.
She asked about you. I popped in there for a minute. And she'd asked.
Did you? Okay, good. At least we were represented over there. Yeah, damn it.
Yeah, the
Even
next
Michelle
one.
was like, why is that going? And I was in the other room when it started going off, playing with the cat, doing something. And then she was like, why is your alarm going off? I'm like, I don't know. If I hadn't been involved with something else at that moment, I probably would have hit it, figured it out. But damn it. All right, I'll stop fussing at myself.
Yeah, the next one we're going to do is going to be in about 3 months or so. So I have time to sit down and write the questions out. And I'm going to try and get Crumb to be one of the first competitors and look for someone to compete against him.
Nice.
So we'll see how that's going to work out.
I love Crumb.
He's great. He's pretty funny.
And he's got the musical talent there is just off the charts. He's one of those people that should be really well known, but just has too good of a heart and soul to, sell out. So yeah, Crumb.
Yeah, someone suggested to me to have Crumb versus Lowry, because they do a lot of streams together, have a little battle.
Both musicians.
I've been thinking about lighthouses a little bit. Sorry to interrupt and make a bit of a left turn, but I see Big Pine Sailing in chat talking about lighthouses, being able to see way too far away for curvature to exist. And this has something that's been sort of tickling my brain as of late. And thinking of a lighthouse sort of out on a point, on a promontory out there in the water. Okay, so then you have two boats coming from either direction, both headed towards the lighthouse, yeah? Where are they going to see the light? Where do they have to look in order to find a lighthouse? Do you look on the horizon or do you look up in the sky? Where are you going to see the light? If you are below the curvature, then the light should be pointing sort of in the sky above you until you get really close to it and it's no longer shining in the sky. Then do both boats see?
So like a spotlight at the theater.
Exactly.
You just see, yeah.
You wouldn't see it on the horizon shining at you because you're below the horizon. It's not aiming over the curve of the earth. So it would have to be the way an airplane would fly out into space. I mean,
and don't lighthouses actually point the light like slightly downward? So it hits the water?
That I'm not 100% sure of, Andrew. I'll have to look into that.
I don't know how they, I guess possibly, because a lot of them are at an elevated position just to keep them from washing away from the waves in the ocean and the weather and the elements.
Yeah, there's a lighthouse not too far from where I live here. We actually went out and did some long distance observations with a group, a meetup. So that's where we met up.
Isn't that where the Fresnel lenses came from? Inside of lighthouses? Isn't that what they were designed for?
Yeah.
I'm remembering. I'll go look it up, I guess. Hang on.
Let's see. Do lighthouses
Yeah, there we go. In Fresnel, in a Fresnel lens, hundreds of pieces of how about me reading today? Specially cut glass around a lamp bulb. The design intensifies the glow of the light, focusing rays of light that would normally scatter into a single intense beam of light, which shines out in a specific direction. That's really not my question, but that's somewhere anyway. We're getting there. What'd you find, Zach?
They're not really saying about the orientation of the light. It just tells you they're placed on high places, blah, blah, too. Yeah, I'm going to have to... You have to ask the right question.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm trying to figure out is the way to word my question for this thing.
How are lighthouses oriented, maybe? Because if you don't get it right, then...
Or if you don't see the lighthouse directly because you're beyond the curve of the earth, where would the light appear? Or is the lighthouse light just not strong enough that you would even see it from that far away, but you don't have to get very far away from a lighthouse before you're behind the curve?
The first lighthouse, which was incidentally designed by a French gentleman named Augustin Fresnel, the first one had a light that could be seen for more than 20 miles.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's the American one in Boston. I was just looking that up, too. In 1716 in Boston Harbor.
I wonder at what altitude it was. Again, I'd be real curious as to what the maths are on this, as to the actual elevation of the lighthouse and the actual elevation then of the light on the lighthouse versus to why they can see 20 miles away.
That's a good trivia question. I'm going to have to save that.
Okay, so the way this thing apparently works is basically by concentrating the light, almost funneling the light into a beam many times brighter than its source.
Yeah, the Fresnel lens, it's kind of like
Right.
up in front of the sun and burning paper with it.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but that's what I'm trying to get to. Wouldn't this just be making a giant freaking laser beam? Laser beam! Anyway, I don't know.
Dave is saying they do not point down, but perspective makes it look like it does.
Aha.
Okay. I don't know much about that stuff.
Yeah, it really doesn't tell you about, is it a 90-degree perfect 90 going straight out, or is it tilted, at a 89 or a 87, something like that? It doesn't say.
Let's get it in chat is asking, aren't there lighthouses that could be seen for over 100 miles? I thought that was one of the proofs. And I think that's sort of what I'm getting at is you don't even need to have it at 100 miles for it to be one of the proofs.
Yeah, Eric Dubay actually did a really great video on lighthouses in the flat Earth. I think that's in Dave's app somewhere, or it's on Eric's YouTube channel or on Rockfin or something.
Well, yeah, I know the 200 proofs, a lot of those 200 proofs were lighthouses, different lighthouses.
But mine was the placement of the light, the orientation of the light. If you were beyond the curve of the Earth, wouldn't you be seeing it like a spotlight in the sky? You'd have to look up to see where the lighthouse is going to be versus waiting to see it break on the horizon. I don't know. I'm either overthinking it, possibly underthinking it. Stick around. We got one more segment coming up after this. The second half of the second half coming up right after these brief messages. Stick around.
The biggest poison in us is regret. I think there are a lot of people that have dreams and aspirations of things that they always wanted to do, but it wasn't the right time, or they didn't have enough money, or they didn't have enough experience. It's never the right time. You're never going to have the right experience. And all of a sudden you wake up and you're 70. And you're like, God, I wish I could have done it. It's what you don't do that screws with you later on. I get one shot at this life. This is it. And I don't want to go through life being the 80% version of me. I don't want to look back and be like 77 and be like, I didn't do that. There's so much I want to do, and I love life so much, I don't want to miss it.
It's amazing how people have been raving about Aya Life all over Facebook. They've been posting their testimonials just because they want to get the word out because it's worked so well for them. If you're not familiar with Aya Life, it's a 99% pure CBD oil, but the secret is the synergy between the hemp and the ayahuasca vine, the non-psychoactive component of the ayahuasca tea. We recently received an email from a wife whose husband has Parkinson's. For the first time, he's been able to sleep through the entire night. Another customer reported that they're no longer using NSAIDs because their tennis elbow has been relieved with Aya Life. The reports have been phenomenal and much more than we ever expected. Everyone should have access to this. That's why if you head on over to ayalife.com right now and use coupon code TFR, we'll give you $5 towards your order. And we'll even ship it worldwide. That's ayalife.com, AYAlife.com.
If there's something you want to achieve, you can achieve any freaking thing you want as long as you know what the goal is. That's why goal posters or goal boards or even just telling someone what your goals are, writing them down is so important, because once you can identify your goal, it makes it so much easier to work towards it. And that's something that I think our children are not being taught in the school system right now, is how to set a proper goal. It's like, hey, what do you want to achieve? Well, the teacher gave me these things I want to achieve. Okay, well, what's that going to do for you? Well, I don't know. The teacher said I had to do it. Okay, that's great, but it doesn't teach them the logical thought process or the creative thinking process to develop a goal and then reverse engineer what they need to do to accomplish that goal. And we need more of that true goal setting in our society. Otherwise, we just have a bunch of sheep who have no idea what they're doing. They're just bumbling around. Don't be a sheep, be a goat. They're more creative and adventurous anyways. Be an ornery goat.
No hate, no hype, no fear.
You're listening to Truth Frequency Radio.
We are TFR.
You're a liar!
Inconceivable! And welcome back to the fourth and final segment of the Ironworks, right here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com.
Inconceivable.
Inconceivable!
I was watching lighthouse videos.
Yeah, me too. The furthest one so far they're saying I've seen is 37 miles, 60 kilometers. And we've heard accounts of people saying they've seen them from much further than that.
And that's just because they're thousands and thousands of feet up into the sky, right? That's how we can see them from so far over that curve? Or are they just a few hundred feet up on a cliff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not looking at like the Hollywood lights that are, shining up straight up into the sky like you would think you would see, or at least somewhat like that. That's what you would see, but we don't. You see the light on the horizon as this little pinpoint that just gets brighter and brighter and bigger as you get closer. It kind of just appears out of nowhere.
Which is what I thought.
It's a moot point, really, when we have the military openly admitting that they can pinpoint another ship with a pencil beam laser over 50 miles away.
Right.
So that makes all this lighthouse talk and all this stuff kind of a moot point when you really look at it. You don't even need to make this argument. You don't need to even talk about lighthouses. Yes, they help prove our point, but we have much better, ammunition to fire back at them. Don't play chess with pigeons, people.
Unless you're bored. And then it's fun just to, play chess with pigeons and watch them get confused. Piss them off until they just shit on the chessboard, scatter the pieces, and fly off. There is a certain amount of satisfaction in that every once in a while.
Hey, can I share my screen for just a moment?
You certainly can, though it won't do much good for the radio listeners out there, but you absolutely
I understand, yeah. But there's a lot of people in YouTube that might want to see this because I saw this in Telegram and... All right, let me just show you. This is fucking stupid. I can't believe people actually are going to believe it, but I bet some people will.
Yeah. Oh, come on. That's not even the moon. I can look at the features and tell that that's not the moon.
It's the dark side, don't you know? How would you know? You've never seen it.
There is no dark side of the moon. Actually, it's all dark. And that would.
Anyways, yeah, that's it.
That's pretty good.
And people think that's real.
Yeah, and if you click on the link to it, it actually says it happens twice per year, but it's a rare phenomena. Twice per year isn't rare.
You know what's weird when you...
That's twice more often than my birthday.
When you see the moon and it's real big like that, you pull out your camera and you look at it and the moon's small through your camera lens. It's so weird. I don't get it.
Yeah, I have a hard time with that too.
Or like David will tell you, if you see the moon and it's all huge, you bend over and look through your legs and the moon's tiny again. Because now you're looking down at it, except not up at that angle. There's something to do with that angle right above our line of sight. When you have to just look up a little bit, it like magnifies things for some reason. I can't wrap my head around it. In the wintertime, when the trees are, all the leaves are off the trees and I can see the highway out there, the vehicles look, like it's about 100 yards away. And then you start looking like at the actual distance, and you're like, whoa, that's way further away. How are those things so big? Kind of like that one Mark Sargent video we shared. It's got that building out on that island. And you're driving up the road, and the building looks huge. And then you get out near the edge of that cliff and make the turn, and the building's this small-looking little thing out on the island.
The closer you get, the smaller it gets.
Yeah, it's like backwards. It's wild. But it's not like it happens once in a while, like it's an atmospheric thing. There's been many people that have gone there and done that video. And just like the cars here passing by, it's not an atmospheric thing. It's like this all the time. Whenever I'm sitting on the porch or looking up at that angle at the highway off in the distance, everything looks magnified. Weird. Can't explain it. I'd love somebody to tell me why this happens. Please.
I have no idea.
But yeah, definitely not our moon that we see in the sky. I don't think a lot of people don't realize that, especially, as truth seekers, we all have probably heard this before, but we don't see a different face of the moon. Everybody sees the same moon.
So I was wondering, what are they saying actually occurs twice a year that's what we're supposed to see? What happens twice a year? The moon flips?
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Strange phenomenon that only occurs twice a year, every single fucking year.
Now, to be fair, I've never taken a picture of the moon every night to verify that this isn't true, but if I were a betting man, I'd call bullshit.
I think it would be safe to assume that at some point, someone else would have seen this. In the history of man and woman.
Oh, no, oops, I misspoke. So it says this phenomena can only be observed once a year for 36 seconds. Immediately afterward, there's a 5-second total solar eclipse.
What?
Oh, so this is the moon that we see as it approaches the sun for the eclipse? Sure. Gotcha. That makes perfect sense now.
If the moon was actually the size they said, that means the moon would be, 5,000 miles away?
I mean, during an eclipse, you don't see the moon on a solar eclipse. Like, even the day before the eclipse, you don't see it's a new moon. I don't know the exact hours, David, if you're still in there. How long is the moon gone? He's one of those people that knows 70 hours, 71 hours, something like that. Almost 3 days. We don't see the moon every month. And right in the middle is like the eclipse. So no, this picture is not taken right before an eclipse. That's retarded.
I'm going to drop that video in Iron Realm Media chat in Telegram.
Yes,
do it.
And if you're interested in joining the Iron Realm Media Telegram, links are in the show description, along with various other links up to and including our merch store. Link.
Yeah, some new shirts designed by Angela Baby Carson, who had to go earlier. It was 3 a.m. She was ready for bed.
She was up late making food for today.
Yeah, we love you, Angela. Yesterday there was the eclipse as well too. Did you see that?
I did not. Somehow I
It's
didn't see any.
a special hybrid eclipse, supposedly. I haven't checked it out yet. I haven't gone looking for pictures. It's been busy. But yeah, it starts off as a ring of fire, supposedly. You know, the eclipse where you see the sun around the moon. But midway point, it's a full solar eclipse where you don't see the sun at all. You just see the beams around the edges. And then once it gets to the end of its eclipse, it goes back to a ring of fire.
So it's like a weird pulse?
Yeah. But this does not make sense in the heliocentric model at all.
Right.
At all.
One of those three things would have to be moving suddenly.
Yes. Either the Earth, the Moon, the Sun is moving drastically, a huge amount of distance, you know, and then going back without anybody feeling it or there being, yeah, it's nonsense.
You know, in the flat Earth community, at least we have the honesty to say we don't know what's going on with all of it. But Globy is just saying they'll cling to any bullshit explanation, use mental gymnastics, and just convolute the conversation in order to try and get their point. They'll even lie on purpose just to get their point across. And that's what drove me over here.
Knowingly lie. That's why I don't speak with these people ever. I've been asked to go do interviews with some of them and this and that and come on my show and discuss this. And it's like, no, I'm not wasting my time. Not even for $10,000 do I want to speak to you for an hour. I don't want to waste my time.
That being said, my name is Josh Corey, and I will speak to you for an hour for $10,000. I'll put up with a lot of shit for $10,000. I'm such a whore. Never mind.
But really, these people, it's just, that is their goal. To waste your time, to get you upset, to make you angry and mad, and not focus on what you were actually passionate about. You know, that research you're digging into. I mean, now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I will go and watch these people talk for a little bit just to light a fire under my butt. Just to be like, okay, here we go. I need that little push over the edge to, you know, start a next video or start the editing. I have all the stuff. I just hate the editing part, so I put it off.
Yeah.
So they do have a, you know, a purpose somewhat. You can use them, that the way they make you feel. Anger is a gift sometimes. Just saying. It is.
So there was a hypothetical question that I asked Jaron on Wednesday during the debate. Was it before the debate? Something like that. Anyways, I asked him, how much would it cost for him to go back to the globe and actually shill for the globe? And he said, there is no amount. I said, $50 billion. He's like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah. You know, for that kind of money, people will do stupid stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't blame him. I mean, you know, your soul would still rot within, but.
No, I told David, dude, if you get offered an island and you have to just disappear and never, I was like, dude, you've done your part. You deserve that. You deserve to be happy and somewhere where you don't have to worry about money and this and that and blah, blah. I was like, dude, you've woken up so many people already. If they give you that carrot or the stick, take the carrot. Don't be a martyr. don't, you know. I know that sounds horrible or whatnot, but you've done it. You've done more than I thought all of us would have done by this point in time. I did not think it would be this big this quickly. So I told him, yeah, dude, if you get that offer, you know, your own island and never have to worry about a penny again, dude, love you. Have a great life. Enjoy it. Every fucking day.
Well, the moment we see Dave putting up billboards all across the country that say, "I switched back, the globe is real," we'll know what happened.
But yeah, I mean, when you're offered crazy, ludicrous stuff like that, I could see people taking it.
I mean, I get your point. And Nachiketa in chat says most everybody has their price. I was 15 years old and my price was $5. No shit, $5 an hour for me to go shovel horse shit for 8 hours a day. That was my price. As long as I would let them pay me $5 an hour, that's the price I would whore myself out to. Now I'm like $20 an hour. But I'll whore myself out to pretty much anybody for anything for $20 an hour, as evidenced by a paycheck that I collect every week. $10,000 an hour to sit through a fucking conversation with the Globie? Done. $10,000 an hour? I make $20 an hour. $10,000 for 1 hour covers me for like what? 3-4 months worth of fucking work at $20 an hour.
Yeah. I was hoping they were going to pay Austin. He was charging him $5,000 to do an interview. He was tired of, you know, doing it for free and then just sitting there having to listen to that nonsense and argue and explain yourself over and over and get ridiculed and laughed at by, you know, 2 or 3 other people. When Austin could be researching or, you know, doing tests and this and that, that's what they're there to do, is to waste your time, to divert your attention from what you were doing. It's the same thing the government does, you know, with this digital currency they're trying to push through. What's everybody talking about right now? Not that. Pick one of their 100 different, you know, look over here's that's going on right now, the whole Bud Light thing. Isn't that funny how the Bud Light thing happened right when this whole thing, digital currency that's not being talked about, is being discussed in, you know,
pretty much
Congress and the Senate? Why isn't that on the cover of the news? No, we're talking about Bud Light and all that nonsense.
I don't think people know enough about cryptocurrency and digital currency to be concerned with it. Because I talked to my parents about that, and they were like, "Oh, okay, I guess that's what we'll have to move to." I'm like, "Oh, Mom, Dad, you really got to sit down with me. I'll teach it to you. This is not a good thing."
Yeah, no, it's the same thing they're doing over there in China. And the way they're wording it, it sounds like they're talking about, oh, yeah, you'll get like a monthly allowance or whatever. But if you don't spend your monthly allowance, like you want to save, maybe start your own business or something like that, or go on a vacation or this. No, you don't get to do that.
Well, okay, if that's different than if it's a monthly allowance that expires, it's completely different than having an entire digital currency that has a shelf life. Like if I can go and earn my $20 an hour, and that's mine, but for then all my tax rebates, yeah, any allowance that is given to me by the government may have a shelf life. I can appreciate that. You want to save money? Go out and fucking save money. Don't just expect you to kick back and collect tax money from the people around you.
The digital currency that they've implemented, that's already part of it. There's no doubt about it. That's in there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no saving up, no buying shit you don't want people to know you bought. You better have a florist you like.
It's going to completely change the framework of how banks work, like savings accounts and retirement accounts and all that, and
what
pensions.
Black market, you know, I'm not talking about like heroin or fentanyl or cocaine, but what about just cannabis for the young guy in Indiana or South Carolina or North, or all these places where it's illegal, like illegal. You know, all what's going to happen with all that? There's something's going to have to change. It's not going to stop. So there's going to have to be some trade, barter, come back into the mix, maybe.
I'm going Amish. Hey, but just as a reminder, I do believe on Saturday is when Hibbler's next video comes out. Is that right?
Yes. Yes, I cannot wait. This is going to be awesome. Yeah, I'm sure we will be getting it in this household. There's something else coming out. I think same day. I forget now. I was talking about this with Jaron yesterday. About selective memory. You know, there's certain things that don't change. So in my brain, I tend to remember those things more, like laws of physics, you know, things like that are like set in stone. I'll remember those certain things. But when it comes to what I need at the grocery store, that changes from week to week. You know, a lot of them are the same things. You have your staples, but the oddball and end balls change all the time. So when he tells me something yesterday, that's why I keep telling him, write it down. Write it down. You tell me something yesterday that I need to get today, but I'm not going to need to get it next week. My brain doesn't really put that in the need to remember section. I don't know. That's just how my brain works. Are you guys that same way? I just have a horrible memory of shit that isn't set in stone. I tend to forget at least one or two things if I'm going with
pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. If I don't lock it in somehow with a mnemonic device or something, yeah, definitely.
So I've been trying to write stuff down lately. My uncle told me he didn't grow up till he was 54. And he realized the day he grew up was the day he started making lists.
Oh, thank God. I'm looking forward to that day. God, I hope it comes.
But yeah, a list can be a very powerful thing. Crossing it off feels good. And, you know, it does help. We're starting to implement that around here, and we're getting a lot of stuff done quickly. But yeah, just if you don't do lists, try it. If you have a problem with the short-term memory, stuff like that. Lists I'm finding that they're amazing. My uncle told me that many years ago, and I'm just now taking his advice on it. And he was right. A list a day. That about wraps it up, folks. We're a few minutes out. That was a fun one.
That was a fun one.
Yeah, and went by quick, really quick. Good Lord.
It is the weekend. We will be having a show this evening, I'm assuming.
I could have sworn that we had the Morgile coming on, but that was something that you guys had sort of been making happen since he was getting limited messages. But I thought we had confirmed last week that he was coming on this week.
Yeah, we're going to have to reach out to him today and make sure that he is aware of that. Because it's been, you know, that's one of those things that we didn't put in the have to column there.
Yeah, I didn't think about it until it might have even been last night. I'm like, shit. It's one of those things that you might want to send out a reminder a little bit earlier than a few hours prior.
Yeah. I will get on Cammie to get that out there, like, as soon as she gets up.
Tell him I apologize.
On my list.
I was going to send him a message via Facebook Messenger, but I don't believe he's even seen the one that I sent. prior. Well, I guess he has to because he said he saw it. How would he know it had been there to talk to Kimmy about it? I just haven't. He hasn't responded, so I haven't sent anything back to it. That being said, I suspect that you and Kimmy would have been the ideal way to do it. I just should have reminded everyone earlier. That's what happens when we're too busy playing games instead of actual show production.
Love y'all.
Love you guys. That's it. About 90 seconds. We should be hearing some musics. What else we got going on? Not entirely sure.
How you guys doing? All right?
Oh, look at that. Just in time for break music, Mr. Jonathan.
You're not Alex, Michael.
Hey, who's Nemo?
He's in chat right now, actually.
He said hi to me yesterday in Skype. I didn't have time to talk. I was running around yesterday.
Yeah, Nemo's a good guy.
Cool.
Here for a while in the realm.
I tried calling in earlier. I was going to get on Skype. Like I saw the alarm go off for the show, but I was just shot out because I went out partying last night. So
wild, man.
Yeah.
Oh, you're more than welcome to hang out with us this afternoon, sir, if you have the time.
Yeah, that'd be fun, man. That'd be fun.
Oh, man. I need to wake up.
Well, thank you all. We are like literally seconds away from this thing wrapping up. So thank you all for being here. Love you so much. We'll see you this afternoon.
That's it. Thank you, guys. Have a great rest of your weekend. And hopefully we'll see you back here for more of the Ironworks every Tuesday and Friday morning, 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. Central Time. Otherwise, we'll see you this evening. Have no fear. Fingers crossed we'll get John the Morgile to come hang out. Until then, you guys be good. Be well. Remember, we love you.
We began as wanderers, and we are wanderers still.